Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and this is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have all kinds of events online and in person in the Pacific Northwest. I'm putting everyone in spotlight right now on the panel. And today is one of our panels. Today's theme is magical and mystical manifestation. Let me go ahead and I'll get me at the back end of the grouping. Here we go. Yeah, so magical and mystical manifestation. There are 6 of us that are on the panel today. We're going to be introducing ourselves. So everyone, let's go through and we'll introduce ourselves generally first, and then we'll come back and talk about the theme, and then we'll be available to answer your questions. So it's free to be here to listen and learn, and it's a small prize to ask a question of the panel. It is sliding scale. It is 20 to 28. $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. We request that you pay first before you ask a question. And if you do pay to ask a question, or if you've already done that, please let me know in chat so I can get you in line. You'll see that we work with a whole range of modalities. We can take questions really on anything. And the theme today is manifestation. And so we'll probably pull it back to that somehow. But really, you can ask about anything. Everything in life, right? Isn't it? It's about like, what are we wanting and what are we making and what are showing up and how do we know what we're manifesting even if it's not what we're wanting, and all those different lessons. All right, great. Well, let's go in a related order to before, I think, and more people are arriving. So we'll have Tammy, and then I was Tammy, Angie, RoseMarie, Elizabeth, Lisa, and myself. All right, great. Tammy, take a couple of minutes and tell us all about who you are and what you do and how people can contact you and you're special or any of those things.
Tammy Joyful here. And I'm in the process of reinventing myself once again. I've done that many times already, and just continue to expand and reinvent myself. So who am I going to be when this reinventing time comes around? I've been manifesting and we'll see. So some of the things that I have done on my journey so far is I provide spiritual guidance, animal communication, healing, mediumship sessions. And I have a goal to provide, helpful, uplifting information, while I also like providing those nuggets of wisdom so you can learn to connect with your own true nature, with your own animals, with your own loved ones that have passed over. I believe everyone can. I believe it just takes some practice and desire and determination, which is the same for me. That's the same with manifestation. And I like to help you connect, improve your connection with the unseen realms and help you live an empowered life on this earth plane. And Tammy Joyful Empowered Living is who I am right now. My website is tammyjoyful.com, and my email address is tammyjoyfulguidance@gmail.com. .com. I hope to see and get your questions soon. And my special is $40 for a 30-minute session. Talk to you a bit.
Great, and that's 40% off, so great opportunity. Thanks, Tammy. Angie is next.
I am Angie, and I am a spirit energy guide and a manifesting coach. And I love to help people find their creator spirit and help people to understand that we first have the law of attraction that happens, and then we have intentional creation, and then we have the art of allowing the intentional creation. And I love to help people get into that mindset and how to change so that what we want to create can come to us by changing the way we look at ourselves, going back and diving into some of the past traumas we've had that may be stopping the signal we're sending out for these current manifestations. And I do one-on-one sessions in person here in Everett and online. So you can contact me at my website, Universal Restorative Energy, or my email, Angie at Universal Restorative Energy. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Angie. All right, RoseMarie's next. Oh, there's a lovely cat in the background there that just
That's Tylon. That's Tylon. And he's actually put his mind to some things and been able to accomplish some things. I've been able to watch him focus, take time, and accomplish, which was amazing because it works with everybody. Hi, everybody, my beautiful beings of light. I'm RoseMarie Davis, a spiritual consultant and teacher of Dragon Mastery LLC. We are always manifesting. That's one of God's gifts to us. However, we do it many times unconsciously. So I help folks really practice thought consciousness and manifest consciously and specifically with specific goals in mind. And I try to help them focus or clear that negative energy that causes blocks within. You can find more about me on my website at adragonspath.com, where I also have books that I've written and lifestyle products for those that are on the journey to awakening. But I just love working with folks. I do it one-to-one, in groups, as a study group, and live events as well. So let's connect and see how I can help. Looking forward to talking to you today.
Thanks so much, RoseMarie. Elizabeth is next.
Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you joined us this evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. I am Elizabeth Watson with Surreal Dawn LLC. I am a intuitive empathic reader, as well as a certified mindset and manifestation coach. So what I like to do is really take the science behind mindset and the spirituality of our guides and blend them together to just supercharge your ability to manifest the life of your dreams. I love to work with people one-on-one, but also in group coaching programs. And I love to take you through what I believe are the three foundations of that, and that is belief, empowerment, and transformation that really just supercharges that manifestation, like I said. Let's see, you can find me at the Surreal Dawn on Facebook and Instagram. The Surreal Dawn is also at gmail.com, my email address. My special for you all this evening is a free gift that I would like to share with you. That is my downloadable 3-minute manifestation hack ebook. So you can find the link to that in the chat. And also, I would like to offer anyone who's interested a free 30-minute phone call to talk about what your dreams are, what might be holding you back from getting to them, and how we might be able to work together to get you there. So we can bridge that gap between where you are and where you really long to be. So that is for free for anybody who wants to talk to me about it. That link will also be available in the chat, and you can find me anywhere on social media. We can get friended and do that to just get you going because it's about time.
Great. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Lisa is next.
Thank you, Laureli. I'll say this quick because I think I've got some fire engines running by. Hey, Mystics, I am Lisa Stewart of Co-Create Magic. I'm a creative mixed medium and an intuitive business guide. This would include modalities such as a seer, a medium, energy healer, and a power manifester. As a professional designer by trade, I've always used my intuition to guide my life and my business. I now mentor mystics in their businesses, marketing, website design, services, and products. As an intuitive business guide and healer, I mentor mystics who want to move from the work world to the spiritual world so they can leverage their intuition and master energy to develop their brand magic. This includes manifesting with who they want to become and what they want to bring into the world. Tonight, I'm excited to be part of the practical and mystical manifestation with Laureli and all of these other practitioners. Leveraging 30 years of Fortune 100, working with Fortune 100 companies and small business experiences, I'm just going to pause for a moment and let Laureli.
We can't hear the sirens, so don't worry about that. It might be hard to think while you've going on in the background. Oh gosh, yeah, it sounds like it's close and it's loud. Well, I'm Laureli Shimayo. So in addition to running the event and running the MeWe fairs, I am an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes, like I think we all read each other's eyes all the time. You can get a sense of this for yourself if you think about when you've met someone with dark sunglasses and you can't see their eyes. And then as soon as you see their eyes, there's so much there. So I read your eyes, read your soul. I use a set of archetypes to describe what I see. And I can answer questions about your soul, your purpose, your path. If you show me photos of other people, I can talk about relationships that you're in. I love to connect you with relationships too. I'm a matchmaker for romance and for business. I can talk to you about your career path and how well it is aligned with your purpose, how it could be better aligned. Sometimes it's not changing jobs, it's just changing the way you do it or changing, well, who you work with. All kinds of different things. Getting people started in their work, right? In entrepreneurship. It's great if you do something that's in alignment with your purpose and you let other people do the parts that you need for your business that are not aligned with your purpose. So all kinds of different things to talk about, running off on the theme. What else should I say? I read your body. So I read all kinds of body language. I read things like postures and gestures and even itches, just all kinds of things that are so meaningful. And I pull that all together in the way that I support you in whatever we're talking about. Yeah, and I have a special today. It's to come free to one of my drop-in dating, coaching, or matchmaking sessions, or I have a 20-minute complimentary session to talk about a sample of you, your eyes, and answer your questions, and you get a chance to see what it's like to work with me. So free 20-minute session, mini session, and all that's in the chat. All right. Well, let's see. So let's talk about the theme today. So practical and mystical manifestation. Right. So let's both of these together. So we'll go around in the same order. You can skip and wait till later, or go ahead, take your turn, and we'll have a chance to come back and you can add anything too. So Tammy, I'm going to hand it back to you to talk about practical and mystical manifestation. Whatever you want to share about that as we're getting started.
All right. Thank you. So in my life, the things that I've manifested in my life, it has combined those practical and mystical. And I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. When I first started out, it just happened. But what I've discovered along the way is that when I have manifested those things in my life, I knew what I wanted, or I decided what I wanted specifically. I took small action steps that showed I was really committed to this goal or the manifestation, the intentions. And then I released attachment to what and how anything came to me. And then I let it go. I lived my life. I took these small steps, and then along the way, surprises and gifts seemingly out of nowhere to help me. So that's how I began my manifesting journey. I keep it simple. If it gets too complicated, it's not for me. I need to have it simple. Simple, small steps, practical, and mystical. Adding the magic in there, the magic just appears for me. So an example of, and it's been very effective for others I've helped also. So one time I'm manifesting for myself was actually getting out of debt. So, and again, like I said, I didn't even call it manifesting that time. I knew exactly what I wanted. I was extremely, very committed. I did the debt snowball and the Dave Ramsey program for a few years. No, I think it was a couple years. And I released attachment. I lived my life. I just took the steps, followed the program. And then surprisingly, out of nowhere, money unexpectedly appeared. There was like 25,000 just appeared to help me pay off that debt. And then a couple of years later, 35,000 appeared and helped me clear out that debt. And so within a few years, I was out of debt in a way that I was not even expecting. So to me, that was my first and manifestation that was just practical and mystical to me. Some other things I've little things and small things and large things. So one thing was a friend of mine was estranged from her family, some family members, and she really wanted to have those close relationships. So we went through the practical and the mystical steps. And again, this was before manifestation was even part of my vocabulary. So, and we cleared those blocks. We took those action steps. She knew exactly what she wanted. She was very committed. We cleared the blocks that were coming up for her, that had been standing in between her and her other family members. She lived her life. And then surprisingly, a few days later or a week later, I can't remember how long it was, her sister called her out of nowhere they hadn't even talked for, I don't know how long it was, several years. So that was just another example. In 2014, I started manifesting myself. I'm like, hey, this is really cool. I love this. So I made a list in 2014 of all the things that I wanted. And one of them I was writing being $100,000. I said $100,000 was one of the things on my list. And next year, that was part of my reality. So that was a wonderful, amazing piece. Things have worked for me. Other things in the place I'm living now, I wanted green grass, trees, water, and animals to be surrounded by these things, and I am. One thing though that is very important also is to be specific. It's not an environment that I really want to be in. So those are some other things that I wanted to talk about too, is that I think somebody else mentioned that too, we're manifesting all the time in our thoughts. So we manifest things that we don't want to. So to be aware and aware of those things and keep on track, keep our thoughts and minds on track, and think intentionally, be intentional, think intentionally. And yeah, so those are the things that have worked for me, and I'd be glad to discuss any of those things or things that you want or anything else you'd like to discuss today. So thanks a lot. Tammy Joyful here.
Thanks so much, Tammy. All right, Angie's next.
So this topic is it's my favorite out of all the topics, because we are always manifesting, and through law of attraction, it's happening whether we know it or not. And I used to think that the world was against me, and that I had to just deal with what the world was giving me. And I would, and I'd be really, so I was a reactionary. I would react. And I'm still learning how to not be the reactive and to be the more intentional person. But I have now moved into that intentional creator, where I'm realizing that if I can imagine it, not like I want to fly and then tomorrow I'll fly, but if I can imagine within the laws of the universe on our world, if I can imagine it, I can actually do it. And that's half of the problem, is us imagining that we can do something miraculous or out of our reach, we think, but nothing is out of our reach. Only we can believe that it's out of our reach, and then it becomes out of our reach. But if we can keep it close and believe in it, then we can definitely pull that in. And I have done the same kind of manifesting. I have, we wanted to, well, my first huge manifesting was, and this one was more of a mystical manifestation. And it is, I did a full-on manifestation meditation ritual where I used crystals and the grid and, you know, the whole bit. And I was on the look for my partner. I wanted somebody that was all consuming, and I just didn't. And I put everything out there. Like Tammy Joyce said, I was specific. I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted someone tall with broad shoulders. I've never had somebody like that. I knew exactly what I wanted. And within 30 days, he walked in, and we were engaged 3 days later and married a month and a half later. So this stuff works. And then together we were in a tiny condo, and we wanted a house. So we did a full moon manifestation meditation, and we imagined a house with a kitchen, and he wanted a garden, and you know, place that I can meditate with good energy. And within a couple months, we found this amazing house for a great price with this yard and tulips, and has a greenhouse, a beautiful kitchen. I mean, it has a koi pond, for God's sake, where I can meditate. It had everything. I brought in so much, because when you are intentional with your belief and you allow that intention to happen, it comes in tenfold of what you think it is. And it is real, and it is automatic. It is not something you have to wait for. You can change your perception in a heartbeat and be intentional with it. So this is a really important subject for everybody to begin to understand what their true power in creation truly is. And so I love to talk about this. I love to work with my clients with this, because a lot of times we are stopping ourselves by the way we speak to ourselves, by the way we speak out what we want, and what we honestly think of, like, we want something, but how? That how word really gets in our way. And so I love to help people find out how to talk, you know, and create with the universe in the way that the universe will respond, because whatever we put out there, whether we want to or not, whether it's intentional or not, the universe will create your surroundings around exactly what you're putting out there. And it is the law of the universe. It's not something you can get past. So the sooner we can understand how powerful we are to make that intention move in the direction we want to, the sooner we can all do exactly what we're here to do. Now, I haven't gotten the $100,000, but I'm going to jump on that train as soon as I get off this call. So that'll happen for me at the end of this year. So there we go. But I love talking about this subject, and I'm so excited we're all here. So thank you.
And
Great. Yeah,
okay,
RoseMarie, go ahead.
as I mentioned earlier, we're always manifesting, whether you realize it or not. As Angie said, it's a basic law of the universe. Thought is how we connect with each other and to the world and to bring what we want to us. And a lot of times we're programmed by the people that we're around, the things that we see, and we don't even realize what we're putting out, what's going into our mind. And then we take it in, absorb it, chew on it, and then that becomes who we are, how we think. And a lot of times we're doing this unconsciously. So the goal is to have conscious thought about what it is that you want to acquire, what you want to bring into your life, because you're going to bring both the positive and the negative. So that's why meditating and so on are positive tools to help you focus, sit down and bring that energy into some focused thought, and you can really hone in on what it is that you want. When things just seem to be happening, you seem to be in a flow, that's because you're manifesting positively and you're connecting with those positive things. But you'll also experience that when negative things come into your life. It's probably some negative thoughts that you had in the past, or something that you didn't think was possible, or something that you thought would turn out bad, and then you forgot about it. But that's why it is so important to be conscious of those thoughts, because you can have an opportunity to do something and your first thought would be, oh, I don't know if I could do this, or I can't do this. And you have an opportunity and you stumble and fall because you're not confident. You don't have that powerful energy to help propel you forward. But if you go into the same opportunity thinking, I know I can do this, it will seem like you get through it with the breeze, things connect, you just seem to be rolling with the flow. It's the same thing, and you do have control over that. So I'm a big proponent of conscious manifestation and consciously being in control of your thoughts at all times. When you go to bed at night, give thanks for the things you've learned. And when you get up in the morning, give thanks for the opportunities that are going to come your way, because you're going to bring them forward. You just have to really hone in on what it is that you want and stay specific, as Tammy said. And I look forward to talking to you about your goals.
Thanks so much, RoseMarie. Elizabeth.
Thank you. So, oh my gosh, just like these ladies, I could talk about this all day, every day. In fact, I do. That's why I am a coach in this, because this to me is the essence of magic. This is where it's at. It is intention and it is focused, like these ladies have said, and it is creation. It is bringing something into the world, and it starts from within. It starts by making a decision that you want this, and then getting hyper focused about what it is. And it's not about the material things. That is what we're going to get. And there's nothing wrong with asking for that. But where you really connect with the magic of this is by connecting with the experience and the emotional state that you want these things to bring, because that is what really gives it the power. That is where you start to match your vibration with these things that you want and that you dream about. And you can spend your whole life dreaming about it, or you could decide that it's going to be yours and then start to make it happen. And this can be as effortless as 3 days later, she's engaged after meeting this guy, and marrying him and having this amazing life. Or it can be by the end of the year, I'm going to have $1 million or 100,000. Where were we at? I don't remember. But the reality is you make the decision about what you want, and then you connect with what that experience is. Here's where a lot of people get hung up and they're like, no, manifestation doesn't work. You decide, oh, I want to have a new car. Okay, that's great. What is that new car? What is that going to do for you? What is it that you want out of having that new car? Is it the freedom to go places without having to worry about whether or not it's going to break down and you're going to have to haul it back to the garage and pay for another $500 car bill you can't afford? Is it the more space so that your whole family can go somewhere together? This is the thing that people miss. And this is where I really drill into things with my clients. It's not just the thing. It's not just the having. It's the experience. It's the emotions. That is what really just gets you in that frequency. And then you can't help but have it. And there's science behind this as well as magic, because my friends, that is what your reticular activating system is doing for you. There's that saying, you know, where your focus goes, energy flows. That is the literal part of your brain that makes this happen. And something that RoseMarie was saying just really reminds me of Henry Ford's quote, you know, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And what they're saying is just reality. If you don't think you can have these things, then you can't. But it's not always your fault if you get stuck in that I can't mindset, because it is mindset. And that to me is where I came into this whole process. Is I was very much about mindset for a really long time. It was something I came to on a health and fitness journey. It was how it helped me manifest 3 beautiful children, even though I have some fertility issues, medically speaking, is the mindset. I knew what I wanted and I got my mind in the right place to make it happen. And then I realized I was manifesting. I was giving this magic. I was creating these things because I got my mind in the right place. And that is a whole journey in and of itself, my friends. Overcoming limiting beliefs that you are programmed with from infancy, from well-intentioned, well-meaning people that didn't realize they were going to screw you up by telling you money doesn't grow on trees. Okay, but it's literally cloth, so it kind of does. And therein your mind starts to short circuit and it loses all this energy trying to come to grips with what these incongruous ideas are. Whereas if you work through those stories that have rooted down deep and told you there isn't enough, it's a world full of scarcity, you're always going to have to grind, you're never going to get anywhere unless you are working 110% every single day, whether you're tired, whether you're sick. That Western mindset that we've gotten programmed into tells you that you can't. But you have the power to say, oh, yes, I can. And that is why I myself, these other wonderful ladies that are coaches, all of these people who are here to guide you and get you the right messages can help, because it's very hard to recognize those things in ourselves. And it's even harder to start to change them. But when you get the kind of support that we're offering here tonight, where you ask the questions, where you open yourself to the possibilities, and you get support to get through that process, to bridge that gap from where you are to where you dream about being, then all of these things that we're talking about become so much easier. And before you know it, you're manifesting amazing things. I have just the other day, we're a family of 5. I have 3 kids and my husband and I, and he is our sole income. And then I have my income that I come in with this, but it's not the one that we live off of. And I've been manifesting abundance for our family for a while. Just the other day, I got a message that my credit limit has been increased, and we got our IRS refund, and we had all these little things coming in. That there's the other thing. When it comes to you, it may not look like what you thought. I didn't get a check for $500,000 in the mail for something, but I got all these little things that are going to make a big impact, that if I am intentional and careful with them, are going to make such an impact. So I just manifested abundance, and I did it by not going out there and knocking on every door and, trying to find all these things. I didn't buy a lottery ticket. I got it through all of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. So if you have questions, if you are doubting that you can make this happen, do ask, do share with us, take from us, learn from us. This is the way to go. It is magic. It is possible, and you can. And we're here to tell you, you can. So thank you.
Great, great. Oh, I'm laughing. I totally forgot that someone that I texted is in the room. This is fun. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right. The things we manifest, right? Exactly. All right. I think Lisa's up next.
Thank you, Laureli. Yeah, I just want to echo what all of these others beautiful ladies have said about manifesting. And I've got a few experiences to share as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue my introduction and then move into it because it blends perfectly. I leveraged 30 years of working with Fortune 100 companies and small businesses. I've designed and built several hundred products over the years, selling them worldwide for my brick and mortar shop and online. That was part of my manifesting goals. My work has been featured in major news stations and in movies, more manifesting goals. I've also authored several articles found in industry publications, more manifesting goals. I did this all co-creating with spirit and manifesting with spirit. And I use this experience to help you brand your magic, build your product lines, package your services to weather all storms, and market yourself in a feel-good way without the use of psychic mind control. Now, moving forward on practical and mystical manifestation and what that means to me, I connect with spirit during my deep imagination sessions. I'm a maker, and if you know me, I talk about this a lot. And for me, when I start making, I get into those brain waves that allows me to just get lost in thought. And as I get lost in thought, suddenly I'm starting to get tapped, right, from the universe, from spirit going, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? And I'm like, well, what about that? That's a really cool idea. Let's expound on that. And that's when I get into the flow. And for me, that's when manifestation starts to happen, because then I can start to generate ideas and curate thoughts that are light and airy. And as Elizabeth says, it's about experience and emotional state. Tammy mentioned letting go of attachments, right? How are things going to appear? I know what I want, and I know how I want to feel about it, but I leave it up to the universe to show me how it's going to come to me. I've had the pleasure of being in receiving mode of manifesting as long as I can remember. The key for me is just to be clear, concise, and consistent. Manifesting can also be about upgrading what I already have. That's where I can really bring home the power of manifesting what I want and who I want to become. The key for me is using all of the senses to spark the vibration to bring forward the thing that I want. Seeing, feeling, believing, hearing, and tasting. When I can taste the aspect of the belief that I want to manifest, I know that I'm on the highway to co-creation. So another thing I want to say is that words carry unimaginable power. Back in high school, my decision was to manifest a trumpet. I was already experiencing the effects of playing a cornet. And if anybody knows anything about brass instruments, the cornet and the trumpet are pretty much the same instrument. They're just designed a little bit differently. But I wanted the trumpet, a Bach Stradivarius, to take to college. You know, it was really taking the vibration of playing the cornet and feeling into the, when I play solos, right? I'm going to imagine playing it on a Bach Stradivarius, right? When I'm in concert, when I'm out on the field in marching band, I'm going to experience all the senses of playing just a slightly bit different instrument. And that's all it takes, is just a tiny little shift. And like Angie, I manifested my partner by adopting a cat and renaming him Eros, all because I wanted a little bit of love in my life. 2 weeks later, I met Andrew. He checked all the boxes and then some. We moved in together 6 months later and married a year later. We also manifested moving to Seattle. We wanted to move to a place where we were also surrounded by a variety of terrain, right? Water, mountains, city, and charming neighborhoods. That's what we wanted, but we weren't sure, coming from the East Coast, what that would look like. Boom, Seattle checks all the boxes. It's easy when you know how you want to feel when you're in that ultimate outcome, right? We knew how we wanted to feel in a place like Seattle, and Seattle said, okay, here we go. I never thought of Seattle. I never thought of Seattle in my wildest dreams, but here we are. Manifesting this beautiful relationship and living in this beautiful city is easy as long as you're clear, concise, and consistent. So how many times have we been told by our spirit guides that if it's easy, it's the path to take the next right step? You too can manifest what you want to become and what you want to bring into being with just tiny little steps. Thanks, and I can't wait to help you on your journey.
Great. Thanks so much. It's so fun. Oh, and I want to say the link. So Andrew's having trouble with the link from Elizabeth, and it's opening it up for me, and I'm wondering what's going on. Are you on the same device that you are watching us
I'm
with?
just going to have her email me and I'll email it to her
Yeah, that
directly.
sounds great. All right. All right. We want you all to have access to everything that we put in the chat. Well, let's see. So it's great. I get to go last. It's fun. I'd like to sit here taking all these notes because like you got me thinking and I'm in the frame of the thing. And so I wrote all this stuff out. And then as you were just sharing, Lisa, I'm like, gosh, I don't have examples. Really, I don't list examples of things. What am I? So like the thing that's really worked for me is different than the method that I teach. So let me tell you about what I do, what works for me. And then I think the method that I teach actually really works too, but maybe I do it like subconsciously and I don't even know. So I put myself in places kind of that are around what I want or in alignment with what I want. Sometimes I don't even quite know I want it. I have the like, I want it, I'm terrified. I want it, I'm terrified. But as long as I put myself in that place and I let myself listen, so I have to get present enough to listen, right? To hear, to be open, to be aware of what shows up. So it's not just my ears, but like all my senses, to be aware of what's showing up. And I have to notice an opening. And then I step into the opening. So it's an action of putting myself in a place and then presence. And then I step in and I have to trust myself enough that I'm worthy of stepping in, that I can be with stepping in, even if it's a little teeny step. And I also need to trust myself to discern and listen again of what's good, what's not good, which directions do I want to go? Do I really want this or not? Or like, so I'm endlessly putting myself in a place, listening and stepping. And that's how all these MeWe fairs came to be. I can go through the examples. That's how all that happened. Sometimes people will put something in front of me that I have no idea that I want, but they put it in front of me and I'm like, oh, I got to wake up to that. And I love the person. So I pay attention to the thing, or I could, and I'm generous. So I do, as long as my body feels in alignment, I don't have like glitchy, no kind of sensations. So yeah, and I step and I find out what it is as I step. And that's totally how all these events happen. That's how this panel happened. That's how the practice circles we have happened in the events. So all those things. So it's practical and mystical to me in that it's practical. I have to take steps. I have to put myself in the place. I have to use my body. And then it's mystical in that it's totally, I have no idea what's going to show up. I don't know what opening is going to be here. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the opening. Right. So say like it's awareness for portals and then stepping in a portal. Right. And I have to put myself in a place where there are likely to be portals that might possibly be connected to what I think I want. Okay, so practical and mystical. And then the general thing I was going to go through too is I think that all manifestation involves paradox. And an example of a paradox, and many of you have been on here before, heard me talk about the Chinese finger puzzle, and it's an example of paradox. So the Chinese finger puzzle, right, is this looped paper, and it's so intriguing, right? It's open, you just hold it, put your fingers in, and then, oh, you're stuck, because when you pull your fingers out, you can't get out. So the thing you have to do is you have to like turn towards the puzzle with your fingers, face in, be willing to lean in and get closer to this thing that you think you don't want. And that's how it loosens and you can get out. Right. So it's going the direction sometimes that you think you don't want to go or shouldn't go. So there are 3 steps to the method of manifestation that I use, and it's a version of what I learned from Gay and Katie Hendricks. The first step is to presence what you want. It's really law of attraction, right? So what is it that you imagine that you want? And then deepening into imagining that you have that thing, right? You already have that thing. Right. So that's part of that is that you're worthy of whatever the thing is. You have to do that in order to imagine it and embody it as best you can. And then the second step is to like how it is now. This is the facing into the Chinese finger puzzle. It's to really celebrate and appreciate the way it is now. Like you got here, you got this thing, even if it seems yucky, like all the things that got you here, and this is how it is. And you have to face into that puzzle in order for it to loosen. So like, and then come to love the way it is right now. And if you can get at that place of loving the way it is now, notice if you imagine this, your whole body loosens. So there's this what you want and feeling having this thing and liking, loving how it is now, which loosens everything up. And then the third step is to dance and to play, to juicily play with how it is and how it could be that you want. And this play and dance is what puts you in the space of portals. And so if you're watching and noticing for the portals, this is this thing or something better. So it can be something better. It can be something that's totally different than what you thought. It can be it shows up in a totally new way, and it's this dance and the playful dance. And then, of course, when the portal opens, you got to take a step. And it's important when you, let me link back, when you're presencing again what you want, and you may all have said similar things before too. It's important that you're specific enough and that you're not too narrow and not too rigid. And this whole thing of dance, it's got to get really loose. So in some ways, it's the intention and the line of what you're looking for, or the even bigger, broader what you're looking for that might not be this specific thing, to be present to. So specific and not so specific. And people make all kinds of examples of how they ask for, like a man to show up and it turns out it's a man toad or something, They weren't specific that it was a human. But anyway. Okay, great. Oh, and some of you mentioned related things before too. I'll say our capacity to allow these things in is related to what our upper limit is of how good we'll let things get. That's another concept from Katie Hendricks. And an important thing, just like this manifestation thing, we got to love our limit. We got to love where we are, embrace where we are, accept where we are, come to appreciate what got us where we are so that we can let our limit change. So that's a bit from me on manifestation and how I think about and play with all this. And then, of course, as a coach consultant, I got tons of specific advice for all kinds of specific things, but those are my general approaches. All right, everyone, let's, I know we've got at least one question in line, but before we do that, anyone want to spin back and add anything to your approach to manifestation, or any specific examples or comments or anything? Go ahead, Tammy.
Excuse me. I just wanted to highlight a couple other things, and we've all kind of touched on them, but I just think they're important to touch again. That to know how you want to feel. Somebody was saying, know how you want to feel, and to get to that place where you already to the feeling that you already have it, and then releasing any patterns, feelings, and programs that keep you thinking that you're being denied anything, because we feel like we're being denied it. It's not. It's so to get to release those feelings, patterns, and programs of that thinking. So we're not in that place of thinking that that it's being denied us. We're not being denied anything. The only thing standing in our way is us. And expressing, all our emotions that you have about manifesting or about getting what you want, or all those things, either both positive and negative, either verbally or in writing. To me, it's important to just get it all out on paper, or I believe on paper is better, but verbally also. But just to release all those emotions, so there aren't those feelings and emotions and things inside that we're not allowing. So thanks.
Great, thanks, Tammy.
Something else.
Yeah, if something else emerges, we can come back. So RoseMarie and then Elizabeth.
Yeah, I just want to touch on more of what Tammy was saying. She just went right into what I was thinking about. Because usually when we're wanting stuff, we're either coming from a place of stress or tension, or something that we really think we need, or something that is in the back of our head that we really, really, really want, that we think that others think that we shouldn't have. So one of the main things in manifestation is to allow yourself to change that feeling that you have of want, to allowing good things to come to you. And it just really rolls around that emotion to breathe, know you're worthy. And again, just allow things to come to you, see what's out there. And if it's not exactly what you had expected, it's okay. It might bring something more of what you wanted in a way that you hadn't imagined yet. So just allowing things to come to you, even if it's not in a way that you had programmed it in your mind, because you may have put an energy out in the world that's connected with someone else that may come from 100 miles away and doing something totally the opposite. But because of where you are, what you desire and what they need just matches so perfectly. You may not have even imagined it. So opening yourself up to let things come to you, that is a big part of manifesting.
Great, thanks so much, RoseMarie. We've got Elizabeth next.
I just want to reiterate what everybody is saying. And one of the things that you really need to understand when you are manifesting is that you need to come at it from a place of gratitude. Like Laureli was saying, like RoseMarie was saying, you need to have gratitude, not only for the thing that you want to manifest, but for what you already have. And this is a thing that I talk about a lot with my clients. And the example I'll give you is lottery winners. I know I mentioned it earlier, but lottery winners. There is a staggering statistic of how many lottery winners not only cannot hold on to the funds, but then end up in depressive states, end up committing suicide. It's just, there's a joke about the lottery curse. And the thing about that is they were not prepared for the level of abundance that they received. Manifestation is a journey, it is a process, and it changes not only your environment by bringing you this thing, it changes you so that you are prepared to be the person who can have these things in your life. If you are dumped this raining abundance, but you don't understand how to handle money, you don't understand how to be happy without it, you're never going to be happy with it. You have to be open to changing yourself as well as accepting whatever form this manifestation comes to you as. And if there are challenges, if there are setbacks, looking at them not from a lack, not from a state of lack or a state of not having, but is what is this challenge teaching me? How is this meant to change me, to prepare me for what I want, what is meant to be, this or something better? As Laureli said, I love that quote. You have to be open to that process, to that journey, or you're not going to be able to hold on to the things that you manifest, and they're not going to be what you truly want, what you want deep down, not what you think you want. So you've got to be open to those surprises, because that is also magic.
Great. Tammy, did you have something else? And any other comments before we jump into our first question?
Just stay uplifted. Like I use fun affirmations, that keep your spirit uplifted, and while you're taking the steps, and just to keep your energy fun and playful, like you were mentioning, Laura, fun and playful, and keep yourself uplifted in whatever ways, fun affirmations, whatever ways that help you to be happy and joyful in divine timing. Thanks.
Great. And Lisa.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off of what Tammy was saying, and that is keep your idea of what it is you want to become or the thing that you want to attract light, fun, and also I would add low impact, right? Because what I would love for everyone to feel into and believe is think that you are a co-creator, because you are. So for example, many years ago, I'm an artist. I said aloud one morning to my then boyfriend / now husband, I just announced out loud one spring morning, I said, you know what? I want to capitalize on my fine art degree. I want to create a fine art series. The subject matter of this fine art series must be one that I absolutely love. It has to have a timeless aesthetic. And I want this series to be found in the museum along with all other notable artists. That was in the spring. Following December, his parents come down for the holidays, and we decide to have movie night. And we've got the lights down low. My mother-in-law's over in the corner. She's knitting because she has to have the lights up a little bit. And we had 2 little adorable tabby cats, and they're about 8 months old. We also had a giant television sitting on the floor. You guys remember those back at the turn of the century, right? Back in the early aughts, right? We had one of those. So my cat Bacchus runs across from one end of the room to the other because my mother-in-law drops a ball of yarn. And of course, kittens are like, gone, right? Well, at that moment, because the lights were low, he runs across the floor. The light from the TV highlighted his back, and suddenly I got this aha moment. The light from the TV shone on his back and gave me this very sinuous line. And because I love gesture drawing, which is really rapid drawing in studio class, where I'm drawing the human body in 5 seconds, right? So it's just a bunch of lines and a lot of energy. And I also love calligraphy. I married the two. In that instance, I said, Andrew, can you just pause the movie for a second? I have to go get my sketchbook. Got the sketchbook, came back over, started sketching out all of these different cats, rapid gestures. And he's like, Lisa, I think you've got something. I'm like, you know what? I think I do too. And there was born this wonderful playful line called the calligraphy cats and the calligraphy dogs. I created a series of animals, of gesture drawings of cats and dogs. And that's how I started my business. And from there, I built a small empire, and I was able to then get them sold in museum shops, as well as being featured on TV and in movies, and every place an artist would love to have their art featured. So again, be playful and make it low impact. Make it as though you feel like it's not going to be a big deal if you don't get it. Don't worry about the how. Suddenly things get playful, and the vibration, the dancing, right? It all comes and becomes very fluid. And suddenly, before you know it, boom, it's there. So have fun with it.
Yeah, that's great. As you talk about the, like, I don't remember which words you used, but it's like not attached, not like graspy attached. It's got to be the loose. Yeah, it's great. All right, Angie.
I'm actually just reiterating, so I'm going to be fast, but I really want to highlight something that Elizabeth said that is really important, is that feeling of gratefulness. Because if we can bring the gratefulness into who we are now, then we can, when we go to manifest the future and bring in the gratefulness of what that feels like. If we don't understand what gratefulness feels like without the fear, we're going to have a hard time bringing that gratefulness in to who we want to become without that fear. And that fear is a vibration the universe will pick up on. So feeling that gratefulness. So when you're saying, I want to do whatever it is, sit with it. How do you feel? How grateful does it you feel with it? How wonderful do you feel supported by what you just did? And bringing that in. And when you bring the words to your spirit and you push it through, that is when the universe picks up and says, okay, let's hear we're going. And when you stop, don't let go of expectations, because we say this because when we do expect things, a lot of the times what we're doing is we're limiting on what we think things are supposed to happen in the way we expect them to happen. And what we expect is very limiting, because we just know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. So if we let go of those expectations, we are allowing for things to come in a way that we had no idea. And we're opening our awareness to everything, and not just for this little way of us knowing. So I just wanted to really say that. And I think we have a question, but that's it.
All right, great. Great. Thanks, everyone. We love this topic. All right, Anissa, you're actually the first question. Are you ready to come up on stage? All right, let's get you up here. All right.
Okay,
Sweet.
hello.
All right, what is your question? Oh, and actually,
So,
sorry, I jumped in. Let me say a couple
set
things.
the
I'm so used to doing
container.
this. Yeah. Let me set the container. Okay, so this is a great opportunity for everyone to practice opening to their intuition. So I invite you to grab a pen, scribble, draw, so that you might find out if you're tapping into the same things that we are on the panel. This is a great opportunity to learn from all that's asked and all that's answered, whether or not you ask a question. And Anissa and everyone, if you ask a question, this is a public format, it's recorded, and I recommend doing this in any session anyway. If we go deeper in our answer, or we talk about topics you don't want us sharing about when we answer, please interrupt us and give us guidance. We want to stay answering in a way that honors you. All right, Anissa, what's your question?
I've been trying to piece together how to ask it, so hopefully I don't ramble too much. But I'm working on an intuitive practice of my own. I've been getting some very good practical tips from Lisa and Laureli from the drop-in sessions that they hold. So I'll just plug that. They're helpful. And I know some things just from my prior education with communication and marketing. So yes, I feel that I'm fairly good with the practical side of what I need to do to manifest a more abundant practice. But I was just curious if anyone had any intuitive or mystical hits today of what I need to be focusing on or looking at or observing or ignoring. Yeah, if there's anything that comes up in the mystical side of things.
Well, and RoseMarie's got something already. I want to put my hand up already too, but go ahead, RoseMarie. Oh,
Hi,
and y'all on the
Alyssa.
panel,
It's good to see you again.
Yeah,
go ahead and take
lovely
like
to see you.
go ahead and take like 3 minutes, everyone, and then I'll like let you know when you're getting close to your.
Okay. It's good to see you again, Alyssa. I like to talk about something that Angie mentioned just briefly in her introduction, where she's talking about imagination. Knowing what your success looks like to you is very important when you start to begin that journey of manifestation. So in your practice, is it more customers that you want, more online participation that you seek? Do you want more customers coming to you on the online fairs? You have to kind of decide what that is, what that looks like for you. Is it a dollar amount that you base your success on? And then focus on that during your meditation. I would meditate on what that looks and feels like to you, how it feels to help people, the kinds of questions that they come that you're able to assist with. And then that will begin your process in defining what success looks like to you. And that's kind of the first step in knowing what it is that success is for you, is knowing what it looks and feels like. For some people, it may be, helping a single person get through something tragic, or helping a lot of people, or a group like this run successfully. And I know you've already done all of those things. So yeah, just really expanding on what that looks and feels like to you, and really put numbers to it. I want, 25 customers today, or I want, talk to 50 people at my in-person fair, or whatever it is that looks like to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll need to get specific, like everyone's been mentioning.
Thanks so much, RoseMarie. All right, let's see. Next, we've got Angie. Oops.
Where'd you go? Good Lord, your hair is cute. I just want to say that first. It's really cute. One thing that I think all of us do with our new businesses is we want it, but there's this little piece of us that says, can I handle it? I want it, but then can I handle it? I know in the beginning, we get to this point where we're like, come talk to me, but don't talk to me. But I need to talk to you, but don't, and so it is really knowing that you have a message, because Anissa, you are powerful in what you do. I've seen you in action, and I can feel it from you. In fact, I have a coworker, we just spoke about you the other day. And so you are powerful. So it's believing that you have that perfect gift and resonance with some people. The people you're going to resonate with are exactly who you're going to resonate with, and you will be ready for it when it comes. So it's really believing that things aren't going to rush you, that it is going to come when it's supposed to come, because spirit is not going to overload you and then be like, well, this is what you wanted. You are intuitive. So you're going to follow your gut, and it will come to you in the way it's supposed to, and you will be right. Just allow. It's the whole allowing. That is a big thing. And so it's allowing yourself to become. And that was and then whoever spoke right just before me, was it RoseMarie? Yes. What she was talking about, being specific. That's another thing. When you first get in, you've got so many opportunities, so many things that you could do. Can I be an intuitive reader? Should I be a healer? There's all these things that you want to do. And then do I want to see people daily? Do I want to do big things? And it's really being specific about what it is, and then allowing that to take place and not have that fear that's involved. And that's something we do through meditation. We do, through our guides, we'll flood you with, yes, you are good enough. And you leave the meditation thinking, I am good enough. And then world gets in, and life gets in, you're like, am I good enough? And it's remembering what you felt. A spirit is always trying to remind you of your power, and just remembering who we are.
Great. Thank you,
Thank you,
Angie. All right, Tammy is next, and then Elizabeth.
So, excuse me. So what I was going to say is journal, and journal about stories. Like just write out your day, like at the fair, or a day in your business, or a month or a week, or whatever. Just I got up this morning and just journal and let it flow of like what your perfect day would be in a fun way. If it's not fun, don't do it. But if you like journaling and writing and you can do it in a fun way, do that. And then as you're writing, and if something pops up, like and you feel that resistance of a feeling, or the patterns or the programs that we've all grown up with, explore that, and make sure to get those feelings out of your body, and bring them into the light, so you can, once the light shines on them, then they're not as powerful anymore. And you can even explore a negative day too. Explore the writing of that story of a day that doesn't go so well, and the feelings that you're having. Like when somebody walks up to your table, and you're not feeling qualified, or you're not feeling whatever, and explore that, how you're feeling and where it came from, and ask to clear it. Our words are very powerful, so I clear that pattern, I clear that feeling, I clear that, to allow the emotions to flow, to make sure those emotions are moving and flowing through your body. So explore both like a positive day and a negative day, or a month or a year, however it comes to you. What else was I going to say? Just to make sure and get all those emotions out, and again to make sure that you're not feeling like you're being denied anything. It's not too far away, it's not too far away from you, and allow those surprises and the gifts to pop in. Just maybe somebody gives you some extra money for your session, or something like that, in your story, or signs up for 4 sessions, or after the thing, something just either little or big, both little or big, little things and big things, or somebody just comes up and says, hey, I love your hair, because it's wonderful, I love it, just to be, again, we get back to that play and having fun, and being uplifting. And for some reason, I'm supposed to tell you this story. I don't know how it pertains, but maybe it'll mean something. We were going to sell our home, and we decided one day, I put it on the market the next day, and we were selling. I sold it by owner, for sale by owner, and all these realtors were calling me. Why are you doing it? What's telling me when it doesn't work? Call me all this stuff, and I'm like, well, why would I? You're not being very nice to me. Why would I call you? If I did need a realtor in the future, I'm certainly not going to call the ones that are being rude and obnoxious to me. So I sold it. The second person that looked at it, 3 people looked at it. The second person bought it, and I had no idea how this was going to turn out. We needed to rent another place. It was easier if that was off the books. We ended up renting our place back and moving out the exact day we wanted to move out. We did a door-to-door move with all our belongings. It went in the truck, and it went to the new place, or to rental. We had a rental, and it got unloaded into our home. I mean, all these things happened that I just had no idea even could happen. It just wasn't in my realm of thinking. So yeah, for some reason that story came up to tell you. So, and good. Have a great. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if it's as blunt as spirit is making me think, but like moving has been in my mindset, both imagining it and trying to make it practically happen. So maybe that's a bit of a nudge in that direction as well. And please tell Harmony hello from me. Oh, he's over there. Oh, good. That's her dog, by the way.
So I was trying to unmute. He says hi too.
Oh,
2 animal communicators that got to connect to the dog. All right. And Elizabeth is next. And I guess, RoseMarie, did you have like just a really brief thing that you wanted to share, or did you want to come back and share something more substantial?
Well, I just wanted to touch base on the journaling. I think it's very, very important for 2 reasons. One, to kind of help you work out what your goals are. You know, you can use that to kind of work through, and I use it in a couple of different ways. I take one idea, well, I take one journal and I look at what I want to do over several days and I write those things out. And each day it changes just a little bit. Some things will fall off, but some things will become more specific, more defined. I'll have a clear picture. And so at the end of the week, I'll look at what I have left. And then out of all of those ideas I had, I have a list of things that really have honed in on what I think I can accomplish. It's helped me define what that looks like. And also just sketching out what a floor plan looks like. And then you don't even have to look at it again. But once you walk through that process in your mind, the universe comes together. I did that once I was getting ready to open a martial arts studio. I may have told the story once before. And I went in the building and I looked at it. And in my mind and in my sketch pad, I wrote out everything from where my counters were going to be, where the students were going to be working out at, where the dressing rooms were, where my bookshelves were going to be. And then I lost my booklet for about 5 months. And I had no idea. People gave me things that I had an opportunity to go and fill a truck with any and everything I could get in the truck. And after 6 months, someone came and said, "Hey, I think this is yours." And he gave it to me and I opened up and my floor plan and everything was set up exactly the way it was in that sketch pad because my mind had put it to paper and it sent it out into the universe. So once you go through that process, you're connected because the mind does not know whether it's for real or for not. What you put in it is what it manifests for you. So I'm really all for that, the journaling.
okay. Thanks
Thanks,
you.
RoseMarie. All right, Elizabeth is next, and then Lisa.
Hi, Anissa. So I apologize if I'm repeating anything that happened when I had a hiccup on my internet, but you asked for the intuitive hit, so I did a couple of pulls for you. And unsurprisingly, the first card that comes up is the Three of Swords. So it's also linked with the Eight of Swords, and that's reversed. And what this is telling me is the biggest setback right now is your own mindset, your own doubts, your own questions about whether you can, whether what you have to offer is valid, whether anybody's going to want it. I mean, I can hear that just in the way you ask the question. So the cards are kind of telling me what I already know, but that they love to do that. And I'm just like rolling my eyes at them. Yes, I get it. Yes, I get it. That is the hardest part though. That is the absolute hardest part, especially when you're putting yourself out there as an intuitive. I mean, Lisa can tell you because she's worked with so many people in this. When you are starting a business, all of these ladies, we've all done it, worked with people who've done it. When you are starting a business, it is terrifying. And it is completely normal to question everything you thought you knew, everything you thought had value. And I'm afraid to tell you that that does not go away, even if you are successful at the business. Because
Oh, no.
they call it the entrepreneurial roller coaster. You're going to have these highs where you're like, yes, I just had this most amazing reading. I've had 15 people tell me that I'm changing their lives. It's amazing. And the next day you get somebody who's like, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. What? And you're going to get, all these things that are going to come at you and say, nope, you are not good enough. And the trick here is do not let that stick with you. Do not stay in that Three of Swords energy. Don't let it break your heart. Spend the moment in it, feel the feelings because they're valid, but do not internalize them. Do not get stuck in that Eight of Swords place where you have let yourself be tied to those feelings. Let them have their moment in time and then let them pass by. They talked about the flow. Stay in the flow of it. Trust that you are called to this for a reason, because the other card that I got for you was the Moon. And this is the final card that came up. I'm going to try not to get the ring light. There we go. Yeah. So the Moon. And this is a major arcana, as we all know. This is a big life thing. And this is very much intuition. This is what you are offering. And it is in a position to internalize that, trust it, know that you're called to this for a reason. And this is something I want people to understand a lot, because I work with a ton of moms and small business owners. You are being called to this. You are dreaming about this for a reason. And it's not that you are dissatisfied with what you have. It's not that you are selfish. Open yourself up to the prospect that you are being led to this for a reason. There is someone who needs to hear what you have to say. There are people that need what you are offering. And if you have the ability to offer it, then you should. And don't let yourself get stuck in your own way. Laureli, I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to cut me off. But here's the thing. As these ladies have said, get very clear, define what success in your business means to you, but also think about who you are wanting to work with. Define who the person is that you really want to engage with. What is that ideal session of yours in your mind? Who are you sitting with? How does it go? What does it feel like to talk to them? Okay, I'm gonna rapid fire through this. So once you have that really clear, because they've talked about it as well, put it into an affirmation or a mantra. Or as I think you're a very artistic soul. I think you're the one who's always drawing and everything. Put it into your art. Create a piece of artwork that reminds you of what it is you want to have for yourself, for your business, for the people who come to you, and keep that with you. Make it a part of your business card, make it a part of your setup, have it where, put it out there or keep it just for you, but always have it so that you remind yourself. Every single day, I tell myself who it is that I am working for, what I am doing for them, and how they are going to come to me, and what I want them to feel from me. So find a way to make that work for you, because that is how you're going to go crazy with this. And the last thing, I swear, I'm almost done. The last thing I want you to think about is do not feel like you have to follow a set path. That Eight of Swords to me is also talking about the fact that you do not have to make this look like anybody else's. This is your path. What you have to offer is specific to you. Tie in the things that you love, the things that light you up, the things that you really know you can connect with, the gifts that you've been given. Make your own path, because you don't want to be anybody else. You don't need to be anybody else's model of business. You are Anissa, and what you have to offer is beautiful, valuable, and necessary. And it will come to you as soon as you accept that. So, okay.
Wow, thank you so very much. And is that a dragonfly on your necklace? I love dragonflies, so that's really cool.
These are one of my spirit guide symbols is a dragonfly. So
oh, neat.
Whenever I'm having a working, they come along.
Oh, I appreciate that so much.
Is that a dragonfly that's on the fabric on your booth?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Lisa's next.
Hey, Anissa, how are you?
I'm really good now.
Oh, excellent. So from my Oracle deck, I pulled the Fire card, and of course, it's all about courage, right? Courage in forging products, services, and even yourself. So with that in mind, I also pulled the Strength card. And on this card, this is from the 5-cent tarot, which I love. It's about self-mastery, right? Control and discipline. And really what I'm seeing here is a balancing act as well. And the funny thing was, I think it was Elizabeth who drew a couple of cards that didn't feel so good. And it was funny because I had a jumper and it was the devil for you. And I'm like, no, but I haven't asked my question for Anissa yet, right? So I'm like, that can't be it. I understand completely what that feels like. And then to throw in the Knight of Matches. So this really represents the wands aspect, right? The courage aspect. So adventure and action and energy and passion. Now, let's marry these two with being playful and being in the dance and the flow of where you want your discipline to go, right? The modalities, right? And then being disciplined inside those modalities. And then, of course, the action and adventure about where those modalities are going to take you. Now, piggybacking off of what Elizabeth was saying, and that is, who do you want to help? And you might be a little too young to kind of figure that out right now. And I don't mean that necessarily in an age aspect, but also in getting into practicing as a metaphysician. There's a group of people that you can help today that you probably identify with pretty easily. When you identify with a certain group, then you have the language, right? You have the experience and you say, yeah, I totally get you because I've been there, right? So you can start kind of pulling on that thread and saying, yeah, I like where this is going. I want to help more of these people. Or no, I want to help a subset or only an aspect of them in what they're going through, but I want to head in a different direction. So be fluid, right? And just dance that out to figure out how that feels for you. Because I was in the same position as you were about 3 years ago. Spirit kept saying, you're going to help, daughters of narcissistic women. And I'm like, but I'm not a therapist. How am I going to do that? But what I realized is that my mission is to help people find the courage to co-create. And it took me a year or two to figure that mission out. But once I figured it out, then I can start speaking to aspects of it. And so when it comes to figuring out what your mission is, especially for those of you who have a ton of modalities, or maybe just one, that's fine. But what I teach my clients is the front door approach. Think of all of your modalities as a room in each house. Each modality represents a room. But how are you going to get that client through the front door? You're not going to say, I have all these flavors, and you overwhelm them. You meet them where they're at. And when you start talking to them and say, hey, let's talk a little bit. Where are you? What's going on? Then suddenly you start getting these intuitive hits saying, oh, I can help her in this aspect and I can help her in that aspect. Okay, Laureli. So think about that. And the last thing a big hit that I got was ground yourself, because grounding is interesting, because grounding is not just about being centered in planet Earth, but it also helps you to become more psychic and more aware. And so that's something that I keep getting from Spirit. Ground some more, so that you can blend both Earth and the cosmic realm together. Ground yourself, ground your desk, ground your devices, and ground the things that you lost. That will really help to manifest the direction you need to go, the direction you want to go. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa.
You bet.
Great. All right. I'm going to jump in before some other people take second turns. I got the timer on for me. Trying to sort out where to start with this answer. So I'm wanting to stay in more the mystical place. So number one, I want to mention too, how many sessions, you don't have to say the number, but how many sessions have you done I think you've been at 2 in-person fairs. You have done so many sessions. And similar to what someone else said, I know you've had some people where you haven't felt as good about the experience, or maybe they haven't felt as good about the experience, but you really got to focus on the people that had a great experience and you feel really good about the experience. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. So just go back to me in my life. I don't know what this was, but it was like almost 17, 18 years ago, something like that. And I was working at a job almost full time, doing more sciencey and IP stuff and research. And I was studying all this stuff on the side, but didn't know I was doing anything intuitive. And I went to one of the other teachers that was part of that work did a guided journey on purpose and life purpose. So I went and I totally went on the journey, and who knows, I may have fallen asleep, but I totally went on the journey. And I had this image come up that was like this big tree, huge tree trunk that was cut off, but it was kind of jagged. It was like this little bowl. And I imagined that all these people came to me. I'm sitting on the tree and all these people came to me. And I remember the time that it felt like the teacher had shamed me when I shared it afterwards. And I could have totally projected that on him, but it was like, I didn't know that I really was big enough for it. But at the same time, this is what showed up for me. And I think what I experienced of him, no, kind of, it helped me in my little rebelliousness of I could totally have that. And I totally forgot it, put it away. And then years later, it turns out I'm a coach. And then later I'm intuitive. And all these people come to me for sessions. I sit up in the woods and all these people come to me. So, right, this fantasy came true. So I want to go back to the idea of journaling, and I want to encourage you to really broaden it and let it be fantasy. So let yourself get really loose and fantastical and magical and imagine. So you might be on a toadstool or a cloud or on a magic carpet or anything, who knows? And imagine, since you're wanting to work with clients, people coming to you. It might be someone floats and sits on the magic carpet with you and you're floating in the sky, whatever it is. And just imagine being with them, and like it could be like coins come floating through in the sky, or like, so whatever it is you're like you feel like you want, but let it get wild and flowy, and right. And you can write and you can draw, but really get into that fantastic place. And there's something about grounding, but to me, this is really about the opening and the spacious opening of it, allowing you to stretch, right, and enjoy the process of the fantasy. And just like me, it's okay if you forget it. You could tell people, right? You can manifest it in some physical form by like drawing or writing. And the big thing is that you let yourself play and stretch and enjoy whatever it is that shows up. And, you know, you can have a magical eraser, and as you're imagining in the fantasy and like, oh, change this, some other thing, right? So let that happen. And you could also, and the thing that appeared to me was almost like the little beings of the people you've worked with before, almost like if you're on this floating thing, and like little bits of all the people you've worked with, and how sure there's some, right, that you haven't felt as good, or they might not have felt as good, but let them kind of lower down, and all the other ones, and there are many that are up at the top floating, and really let yourself be celebrating and being with the ones where it has been really good. And so all these people in the future, right, that you've worked with, and being with the sea of all of them. And again, they could be floating around or tumulting in the sky or whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So a more magical way of, yeah, going about that. All right. Imagine what your hair is like when you do that, you know, like all the things you play with your hair.
It always
All right.
has to change.
Right. So changing, morphing hair. All right. So then we've got Tammy with some more comments, and Elizabeth.
Harmony just stepped over. I can't see him. He just
Yeah.
stepped over when so
Oh,
he's here too. He's sending you being with you also. Telling you how wonderful he thinks you are too. And to me, what I was getting was to allow yourself to change and to grow and to be those, what everybody else was saying, to the different, like Lisa was saying, different modalities and things like that. Allow, you know, to not allow yourself to quote unquote get stuck but not stuck, like I am an animal communicator. And maybe what I've been doing lately too is saying I provide animal communication sessions, because then it kind of, it's just a little play on words. It kind of opens it up to, instead of just not just, but I am an animal communicator. I provide animal communication sessions. I provide these things. I provide these things. I provide these things. I am a divine being, you know. That's one thing that I was getting. And you're small, and for some reason I'm getting to write down small steps, you know, like 3 of them. I see this 1, 2, 3, and like check them off. Check off this step, check off this step, check off this step. So to check off those small steps to take. And again, just the fun and playfulness, and Harmony is just seeing that too. It's just to be, to have that fun and playfulness about it, and also rest. Get lots and lots of rest. So be more like him.
yeah.
You know, he doesn't, you know, his job, to not let it be a job, to let it be fun, and to let it, you know, like we've all said, to be playful and uplifting, and to not allow it to get tedious.
Okay.
And
Thanks, Tammy. Okay, Elizabeth, and then Angie.
I swear I'm going to keep this brief, but what I wanted to throw at you is, and this will make sense to you as a fur mom. I work with a lot of moms, so I'm going to come at you as a fur mom. When you first bring home that fuzzy little bundle, nobody's checking your qualifications at the door. Nobody says, but are you certified to be a cat mom? No, you get given this life, you're entrusted with it, and that's the way it is. And you become confident in that role as you are learning the role, as you're living the role. And when you are, especially in the intuitive space, but any business that you start, you become the person as you're going through the steps, as you're taking the small steps that Tammy talked about. You embody that role by living the role. And when you are an intuitive, you have to get out of your own way. If the reading doesn't make sense to you, that's not what it's about. I cannot tell you how many readings I've been, oh my God, they're going to come back at me with, you're crazy. But then they come back at me with, oh my, this makes so much sense. And here's what here's what I'm getting out of that, and blah, 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 blah. You're not there to read for yourself. I mean, you're going to do that anyway, but you're there to read for them. It's what they need to hear. Get out of your own way and let that happen. Have fun with the process, as everybody's saying, and embody the role as you live the role. You will come to the confidence only by doing the things.
Oh gosh, yes, by doing the things. Okay. Thank you again.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Angie.
And lastly, I really want to say, probably not lastly, I'm probably going to speak up again, but I know that as intuitives, when we start a business, we have so many options, and all of a sudden we thought we knew what we wanted. And then all of a sudden there's so many options thrown at us. So we're like, I can do it all. I want to help this person and this person and this person. You lose real focus about what it is you were meant to do. And so it's important that you know who you want to help. Who are you resonating with? Who is comfortable? Who are you comfortable speaking with? And once you become clear, then that confidence comes up and you're like, yeah, I've been doing this I know who I'm speaking with, because a part of it is becoming like, well, there's so much talent out there. Am I up to the par on this talent? And you are, because you're unique. And so you understanding who you actually want to work with brings it all into focus. And that is like the first thing we need to do as new practitioners is become real confident on who it is we actually are wanting to help. And for me, I found that my passion lied in helping people co-create, helping people understand that they can create, that they have that intentional manifestation. And that's where my passion lies. So I found very clear, this is what I want to do. I want to help people exactly on seeing where they're stopping themselves, seeing their blocks, being able to help them for it. So I kind of got myself, but when you first started, you're like, well, maybe I can help. Maybe I can be a psychic reader. Maybe I can be a healer. Maybe I can, there's so many options, And so just being real clear on who it is you are wanting to help, because that is what you're called to do. And you are called to this because you wouldn't be here if you weren't.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you again.
Great. Thank you so much, Anissa, for your question, for letting us play with you.
Oh gosh,
Support you.
yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, great. All right. Is there anyone else in line that has a question for the panel? It can be on manifesting and it can be on anything. If you have already paid to ask a question and I have not noticed your payment yet, please let me know. And also notice, I put in the chat, and I'm going to put it in the chat again too. We do a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of you. We do a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice from those of you who give us feedback on today's event and give us your email address. The form for how to do that is in the chat. So yeah, you're getting value from today. We want to know. All right. So yeah, who has a question for us? Yeah, and this is what keeps our panels going, is if we get questions. So thanks so much, Nissa, for your question. And see who else is here. And panelists, we can always ask questions too. I know I got a great thing right before the panel opened. But, oh, you have another. Okay. Does anyone else want to jump in front of Anissa with another question? Anyone else? Anyone else want to give anyone else a chance? Right, Anissa, we're bringing you back up on stage.
Should I go get my cat?
I don't know if you might be able to show a photo. We don't want to disturb your cat. So what do you think your cat wants? And what's good for your body?
I'll be right back. I think I know where he's lounging.
Okay. So she's going to go get Belvedere. Oh no, Belvedere. Oh, RoseMarie, did you want to say something, or are you just in line already for the cat? You already got something. Wait, you're muted. I can't hear you.
I clicked the wrong microphone. I just want to throw it out there, a question about people's experience with affirmations and meditation together as far as manifestation.
That's great. Yeah, some comments we can make while we're waiting. Well, I know one thing I can say is that I believe that everything we say is really important. And I'm, without being harsh on myself, I'm endlessly aiming to tune, play with my language so that it says more of what I'm, what takes me in the direction of where I'm heading, where I want to go. Oh, Belvedere's here. So let's, Elizabeth, did something you want to say quickly, or did you want to, can we hold and wait?
I'll hold it. It's just on the affirmations and
Okay,
meditations.
great. Yeah. So we'll come back to that afterwards. All right, Anissa.
Okay, and so thanks for taking the time to have another question. This is my cat Belvedere, whose health is in kind of decline. He's about 16 years old, we think. At least that's how long. Well, I've had him for 16 years. He might be a little older than that. But I was just curious, since his health is in decline, if there's more ways I can manifest sending him love and light and healing than I'm already am. Or, sorry, I might get emotional. No, I'm not sorry. I take that back. I'm feeling what I'm feeling. But just if there's any intuitive hits about how to manifest maybe the best outcome for him right now, whatever that may be. Because he's a sweet guy. And I don't want to needlessly treat him if he's near the end of his life, but I also want to make him as comfortable as possible. Now I'm just rambling. I know not all of you are animal specific, but I would appreciate if you get anything, what you get.
And I know there was so there's general, and then I know there was maybe when let's get some answers, and I know there might be a very specific thing that you might want to ask about too. So maybe let's do the general and then maybe the specific. Yeah, go ahead, Tammy.
Hi, Belvedere. Hey, beautiful. So the first thing I got when you brought him up was his concern for you. So to talk to him about that, say I don't want you to go, but I know that at some point we're going to get to that point, and that you're going to be okay. It's not going to be fun and you're not going to enjoy it, but you'll be okay. He just needs to know you'll be okay, in my opinion. And and it feels like of course you're going to get these intuitive hits, but to some animals want to have like a party and invite a bunch of people. He's not that kind, but he wants some kind of I get the word celebration, but not as in like party celebration, like you to celebrate his life, and to have those moments of celebration, or maybe just even what I'm seeing now is moments of fun things that you've had along the way. You know what I mean? To celebrate that, and to enjoy your time together, and to allow the flow, and to not be so kind of, excuse me, in your head about it. What can I do for him? I know that desperate feeling. I've been there. I know that feeling of, I want to make this as easy as possible, and I want to, so to try to just take a deep breath and ground, like somebody was saying, and to just allow your last, however long it is, to be joyous and a little more uplifted, instead of heavy. Just to what I'm kind of hearing is, so I can go out on a happy note, and to look in his eyes and I just think every time you make a decision, to look in his eyes and say, is this, what's for your highest good? Whatever decisions that you're making, every decision, and to reach out to somebody to help you make those decisions too, or to because sometimes when it's our own animal, we can be the greatest animal communicator in the world, and when it's your own animal, you sometimes need someone else to be that sounding post and to help, like we are here to still. Those are things that are coming up for me right now. Love and blessings.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Tammy. Next, we've got Elizabeth, then Angie, then Lisa. So Elizabeth.
Hi, Anissa Belvedere. Okay, so anybody who's looking at you cannot doubt the love. I mean, he's just cuddling you right now. Like you both are radiating the love. And the message that I'm getting is don't doubt yourself now. You guys have a partnership. You have known what's right for him, what he wants from you, what he wants with you. This whole time, don't doubt it. Now's not the time to question that they're gonna let you know when they're uncomfortable, when they're miserable. Trust yourself to see that and trust yourself to make the decisions that is right for both of you. The card that came up, no glare. There we go. That's not going to work, is it? Okay, there we go. A little better. Go the distance. This is from Colette Baron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle. And I love that it's a cat. So it's very much speaking to that. And this card breaks down, it's number 47, but it breaks down to 2. So it's partnership. You guys are in this together. And we can see this cheetah moving towards the finish line. And as it's going, it's just shedding all the things, shedding what's not important and moving towards that end in this desert of, timelessness. And there's stars all around, which is just nothing but hope. So don't focus on the end as much as you focus on where you're at right now. Then the hope of what this moment is in the love that you guys are sharing, in the partnership that you have, and give yourself and him that. Just focus on that, because none of us are assured.
Yeah.
Not animal nor man. None of us have a guarantee of tomorrow, and living in fear of it or in dread of what may come isn't going to help either of you. Just stay in that love, stay in that hope for every single day of those moments where you are loving on each other just like you are now.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Angie's next.
So Elizabeth beat me to it, but when you were holding your cat, you could see the trust between you two. You can feel the trust between you two. Your cat trusts you. And we can all see it's a boy, right?
Yep.
We can all see he's tired and he's at the end. We can also all see that he's incredibly comfortable and happy. And that is all that matters, Anissa. So you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and your cat trusts you fully to continue on. So just love on him in these last time you have. And it's difficult. It's incredibly difficult. And I feel for you. We all feel for you. We all just, but doubting you should not doubt yourself, because it's clear between you two that this is trust that's happening, and just continue in that.
Okay.
Thanks, Angie.
Yeah, that trust with no doubt. Oh, so hard.
Yeah. Especially when it's our own and our baby.
Yeah. He's my last cat. I had 3 that I kind of grew up with as an adult, and he's my last one. So it's like I'm not ready for him
getting
to go.
another one.
Well, that depends on if I actually move or not, and rules with where I move and things like that. So I'm kind of like not thinking that way, just so that I have more opportunities for moving.
Mm-hmm.
But then I can't imagine myself without somebody.
And that is what I'm thinking too. It makes sense. However, you are going to need something. And that animal, that cat, that is you, that is your support, your love. So it's a difficult, and I understand the moving, you have to have your options, because then there's, it stops you from being able to do things. But for you, I believe this is a purpose for you. So I would consider what the next steps look like, but don't consider it now, because you don't need to consider it now. You got a little left more time, but yeah.
Great. And I was mentioned too, right? So what Angie said and what Tammy said, right? So trust yourself to be able to sense what you see in his eyes, right? You can look in his eyes and he can choose with you too. Yeah. So Lisa is next.
Hey, Anissa. I'm sorry to hear about Belvedere. That can be so heart-wrenching. And I remember when I was your age and I had to make decisions about one of my first pets, and it was heartbreaking. What I got from Belvedere was, when he was just his little two, white paws on your shoulder, was just love me as I am, and everything will sort itself out. He just wants to be cherished up. I'm going to start to cry. He just wants to be cherished up to those final days. And he also wants to say that we've been together for a while and we were there for each other. So the beautiful part of this is that when he does transition, for our pets, it's just like they're taking off the fur coat and they're just walking out. It's like a snowmobile suit. They're like, okay, there we go. And the one thing that you get to look forward to is the energy from the other side. When he comes back and he plays with you and he walks all over you at night, he walks all over your bed. It's amazing, the energy and the love they bring from the other side. And they're free and they're irreverent and they're playful. I've seen my cats sit among the glasses where they weren't supposed to be sitting, because they couldn't sit there when they were corporeal, right? They're like, but I'm sitting here now. And I'm like, yes, you are. And you could stay there. So, it's just echoing and supporting what everyone else here has said. And that is, when the time comes, you'll know.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
With that.
Hey, if everyone else is gone, maybe I'm next. Oh, Tammy's got more. Let's have Tammy go next.
Just one other thing popped in my head. It feels like you kind of, for yourself, need have your ducks in a row for for your mind. It feels like to me, for your mind, you want to have that practical step of, if you need assistance as to how to do that, so and you have that prepared and you have the phone number prepared for how you want that to happen. So you're prepared and you don't have to make that part of the decision, doesn't have to be a quick decision. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm very lucky in that I have my vet personal cell phone, and so we've been communicating off hours, and I've been so blessed that way.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, RoseMarie's got something else too. Go ahead, RoseMarie, or maybe it's your first time. Go ahead.
Quick and simple. I just want to say, just remember the love. That's it.
Yeah.
The love that you shared, the memories that you'll have. Just remember the love. It'll help you through it.
So I'm thinking about what might be the specific question too that you're asking, and I don't. I think you had a question about also like whether to give him pain meds and like the side effect it could have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know part of it is, I guess, I'd help him choose. I didn't watch him get off you, but I can't tell how much pain he's in. I know cats are so good at hiding when they're in pain. And I think that with another animal, you gave the pain meds and it helped cause another organ maybe to deteriorate quickly too. So, and it was hard at the end with that one.
Yeah, it was a steroid to help with one issue, caused congestive heart failure. And that's what we're facing with Belvedere is, do we treat one thing with a steroid knowing that it could also negatively affect his heart because he also has an underlying heart condition? So it's like, am I needlessly prolonging his life or risking his life to fix something else? Yeah.
And I think part of what was hard too was giving that other cat the meds, right? Because they don't want it. And then that was a hard process too. Yeah. So, one thing you and I talked about was, is there an easier, well, just to find out, is there an easier way to give your cat those meds? So is there any other form besides the way you did it before that he'd take easier? And then I wonder, can you well, so I guess energetically, so check in with him, and like you can have like 2 spots on the, the bed, even for him, of like, okay, we give it to you, we don't give it to you, and use him like a pendulum. Let him tell you, where does he go, And the same thing for you too. I use your whole body of like, step in, we give it to him, we don't, step in and feel, step into the space and feel. But yeah, is there another way you could give it to him if you chose that? And then could you give it to him and see if he seems to have that much less pain and feels better right now? And then can you stop giving it to him at some point if you want? Like what are some of those options, and hold that loosely, and not like once you make the decision, like that's the only decision you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is definitely tired. Definitely seems tired and like he's getting closer. And yeah, so really being with him. Just being with him.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me to manifest love while I have it and can do it, instead of being so in my head with worry. I think I really needed that reminder from you all today about the practical, just being in love with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sorry that I took up so much time for all the other participants that are here today, but thank you for being here with me. I recognize some of your names, so I really appreciate not only the practitioners, but some of you dear participants that I know too.
You're an important part of this community, and I love that people get to know you more. And I appreciate deeply that you allow the community to support you back for all the support that you give in making this community happen. And you support us by asking questions. So really, really lovely. It's not a burden at all that you ask.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Anissa. All right. Well, let's see. Daniel, you're still here. There was something that you possibly wanted to talk about. And then is anyone else in line and wanting to ask a question? Yeah, and also Anissa, yeah, people are pointing out that seeing the kitty on screen, right, totally supports everyone else too. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I was going to say, so we have a question, we can ask ourselves a question. And block some of my sun. And yeah. Is anything else coming up that anyone wants to share about our theme of practical and mystical manifestation? And part of what occurs
that RoseMarie said, sorry, the thing that RoseMarie said a few minutes ago too.
Yeah, that's great. What were the 2 things? There was affirmations and something else. Oh, RoseMarie, let's unmute you.
Using affirmations during meditation. I just wanted to give a quick example. I taught martial arts for a number of years, and we would have to teach people to kind of dig deep and go within themselves to pull out that confidence, to say, yes, I can do something, and to see an effect right away. So one of the things that we would do, for example, in breaking boards, you would feel your result of your effort right away. Either the board broke or it didn't, or you hurt yourself because of your inability to fully commit. And so just being able to get people to go inside and commit and say, yes, I can do this. I will do this. I am going to be successful with this, will help them be able to just take that extra little push to break a board, because sometimes they hit and just stop. And that's because we get a lot of times that eagerness to do it. And then when we make connection, we don't have the will or the confidence to push through. But that little bit of manifestation, yes, I can, yes, I will, I am, that gives you that incentive to just push just a little bit further and go through the board. So I really, really encourage people to use manifestation, especially when they're sitting and quieting and going within and connecting with their higher mind and telling themselves what they want. Yes, they can succeed, and they will be successful because they deserve it. And so that's my my take on doing affirmations while meditating.
Great, thank you. And I know Elizabeth had something to share about all that. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Thank you. So I love this because affirmations and meditation and journaling, you've heard us all talk about them, and they are pivotal to manifestation. And what those really do for us is they activate the parts of our brain, of our magic, of our inner centers. They unlock all of that energy and start it rotating all in the same direction. It sends out that ripple that's going to invite back all of these things that we're going for. And as RoseMarie said, it's going to support us in those times where we're feeling like we're not going to get there. When those limiting beliefs are creeping back in and we're hearing those I can'ts, I shouldn'ts, I don't, I can't, I don't have the right to, I'm not worthy of it. What I found with affirmations is I've had a love-hate relationship with them. And what I realized is that general affirmations do nothing for me. They do not help me in the least. That I am love and I am light and they're beautiful and they work for some people. They do not work for me because all I do is I sit there and roll my eyes. Yeah. Okay, great. What I find is that I need to make very targeted affirmations. And this is, you've heard us all talk about getting really super clear about the things that you want. This is why you do that, because then you can make those power words. They call it spelling. You've heard that quote. They call it spelling. Words have those power. And when you put them in this very targeted, very personalized affirmation, mantra, key, whatever you want to call it, putting them into that ritual, almost that spoken word, that spell is magical. And it's what helps your brain really start to accept it as reality. Somebody else said that. And that's one of the first steps in manifestation, is getting your brain to accept that this is the reality, because then this amazing power that you have inside of you will make it so. It will connect with that universal spirit energy, that, the all that's around us all the time and within us, and it will start the process. And affirmations are our continual declaration that this is what I intend. This is what I want. This is why I want it. And it not only puts that out there, but it reminds you and reconnects you with why. And that is where the energy and everything comes. And if you use those in journaling, in vision questing, in meditation, in whatever aspect is working for you, in your art, in your music, in your dance, in your movement, whatever those things are for you, you just amplify it so much. It starts to be this compound effect that, by the time you're done with it, you can't help but believe that it's all going to be real. You can't. There's no room for anything else.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Next is Tammy and then Angie.
I like to do walking meditation. So the affirmation, the short, precise, as Elizabeth was saying, short, precise affirmation, doing a walking meditation. And as I'm walking, and I like to put it toward a song. So and speak it as if it's already happened. So with the attitude of the gratefulness that people were talking about before, the thank you, with a feeling of, thank you that I already have it. And so short, precise affirmation that to a short little song ditty. And to me, that I love that. And it just makes me happy and it makes me smile, and it has that uplifting mood and the gratefulness that we've all talked about tonight too. Thanks.
Thanks, Tammy. Angie.
The affirmation is you're literally rewiring your brain. So it's almost like putting yourself in a you're hypnotizing yourself. And it is magical. And I'm like Elizabeth, I can't say, I am love. And, those things didn't work for me either. I had to be very specific. I am intuitive. I will, and you're bringing it to the present moment that I am, I will, I am doing now, not in the future, not next week, not, but you're taking it into the present, and you are pretty much hypnotizing yourself and saying, I am doing this. And your brain, like Elizabeth said, cannot but know the truth of what you were saying after a while, because it takes about 30 days. Literally, that's it. And it is every morning of doing it, every day of doing it. But it only takes about 30 days for your brain to say, what, I'm catching this. What am I? What am I? Because you are literally, it is magical. It's telling yourself something, because we can easily tell ourselves the negative about us, and we can believe that in a heartbeat. And in the same token, you can say the affirmative, and it does take longer because we are so conditioned to believe all the negative in us. But when we keep rewiring our help and switch, and it's a quick thing. Like when you start thinking negative and you switch it automatically, and it takes effort, but to automatically do that switch in 30 days or so, you're gonna do it all by yourself. And you're gonna start noticing, like, wow, I am saying this, and you're gonna believe it. So these affirmations are incredibly important. And one other thing I do is always, I think is important, to have a song that you want to put on the radio when you're feeling down that's going to lift you up. For a long time, it was Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, and I would go for a walk and I'd be like, don't, I would do the whole bit. And by the end of that song, I felt like no one was going to stop me now. You know what I mean? So it's almost like it's psyching yourself up. It's letting yourself know that you are great, and it's continuing to tell yourself. And it really sounds silly, letting yourself know that you're good, but really it is letting yourself know, hey, you are good. You are doing this. You are exactly who you want to be. And then portraying it and speaking it out, because as you do, like we've been saying, the universe catches on and it will hear it. And the minute your heart goes into alignment with what you're saying, bam, you're in action. And it is powerful and it is automatic. So these affirmations are incredibly important. And I used to not think they were either, because I get stuck in the whole generality of the affirmations, but doing it specific to exactly what you want in life, who you want to be, that is what the key is in switching that. So, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Angie. Okay, let's see. We've got RoseMarie and then Lisa.
Really quickly, I'm just going to expand a little bit about what Angie was saying. We are a creature of habit. We've started doing things from the time we were small, emulating what our parents did, emulating what our friends did, emulating what we thought people expected of us, emulating what we saw on television. But the most difficult thing to do is to remember that manifesting is just becoming, changing those habits and becoming that thing or that person that you want to be, and just learning how to just be that. So in the morning, not thinking, oh, I want to be a great speaker. Get up in the morning and say, I am a great speaker, and then go out and be a great speaker. You don't have to give a speech to everyone, but be thoughtful in each presentation with each person that you talk to. Then when you're in a position to where you can speak to the multitude, you not only have confidence, but you also have a true message, and you're able to touch many people on a personal level because you've become that person that reaches other people. And it's not because you've programmed yourself to do that, it's because you've allowed yourself to be that person. And like I said, it's just becoming that person every day and leaving that old thought process or that old habit of, I can't do it, or I gotta have this, or I need that to move forward, or I need somebody to help propel me. You can do it by just becoming. And so the difficulty is reminding yourself that I am what I think I am, or what I want to become, what I want to be, and then just be.
Yep, great. All right, Lisa.
Thank you, Lorelei. Yeah, I just wanted to add another twist on affirmations and rewriting your own. Again, I'm one of those people. It's like, I am love. I am this. I can't buy into it. My head says no. But what happens is the reason my head says no is because I've built in some kind of belief in my system, in my aura that says I am not that, right? Either through parents, society, or whatever. However, what I will do is I love to share this concept of tiny wins. So for me, tiny wins are the idea of logging down every day in my calendar or my journal something that I either overcame or that I achieved, so based on difficulty and based on what it was I thought I couldn't do, suddenly it's like, oh my God, I just overcame that aspect that I've been working on so hard. So I put it down on my calendar, and then I can write an affirmation around that, because it's not just one and done, but then I start to embed it into my psyche, right? So if I create a little affirmation based on that tiny win, then what I'll do is I'll write it onto a Post-it note and put it on my computer. It sits there for about 7 days. I look at it every day and recite it just quietly to myself. And usually by the 7th day when I look at it, I'm like, yep, that's absolutely true. Gone, right? So boom. Then I'll put another one on there based on a tiny win. And so that's something that you might want to consider when you are trying to find the affirmation that works for you. I hope that was helpful.
Well, I agree with so many of these different things. I know for me, definitely something personal and meaningful to me. And for me, there's a process of embodying the thing. And maybe where I started off, in a comment I made before we really started to dig into this, is I focus on everything that I say. Everything has meaning to me. And so if I say, I'm trying to blah, 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 like I'm trying to touch this pen. So try, if you really play with the word try, it means towards and away from. So whenever I catch myself saying the word try, I'm like, oh, love me here. And like, all right, rearrange this. I'm moving towards the pen, right? Because I want to say the thing that is true, that I can own, that I can embody, or I can stay in my body while I do it. And for the thing that's like outside, like I'm about to grasp the pen, if I'm like, like it feels like too much. So part of it is to keep moving, like I'm about to grasp the pen, so play and keep my body loose and to help keep me not in fear. And so one of the phrases that I'm still living into, given to me by one of my teachers, and so part of working with someone to help you find the phrases that are so meaningful for you, is I'm radiantly sexual and absolutely safe. So the way for me to embody my sexuality after so much trauma, I'm radiantly sexual and absolutely safe. And so I coach people to emphasize different words as they say it, to breathe in between and let them feel whatever they feel as they say these things. Gradually it goes into really playing and singing with it and playing with the thing as a way of embodying and being with and coming to own the thing that it is. So there's totally an art in creating the words and the language and using the words and language that are so important to the person that's saying it, and loving themselves, like love myself of where I am with my embodiment, and how to stretch and lean into the embodiment and change the words. So a word that I often use for people is willing. I'm willing to blah, 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 blah. I'm willing to be willing to blah, blah, blah. To find the thing that we can embody and celebrate that, and then find the thing that stretches us not too much. So kind of like Lisa does tiny wins, so kind of like tiny steps with the affirmations. Yeah. Cool. Anything else about that anyone wants to? Yeah, great. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here without raising my hand. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Another thing I wanted to throw out there, when you were making these affirmations and you're wanting them to be really, really powerful tools for manifestation, one of the things that I learned early on when targeting my affirmations is to use action words using the ing words. And what that does in a manifestation sense is it keeps the energy flowing. So I am manifesting, I am attracting, I am accepting. By making these ing words, you push the energy out and you open yourself to accepting it back in. Because I really feel like manifestation is this cyclical energy. You start the process and you open yourself up to having it brought back into you. And you have to constantly remember to be open to it, because there's so much noise in our society, in our world today, that really just is going to try and sabotage you, is going to try and bring those limiting beliefs back in. And as has been said, I think RoseMarie was the one who was talking about this a lot, is there's so much unconscious element to this. And that is the thing that's going to trip you up every time. There are studies that say that I think it's something like 60 to 80% of our daily activities are rooted in unconscious, in things that are just happening subconsciously, unconsciously, things that we have programmed ourselves to do. If you think about driving, when you first started to learn to drive, you were white knuckling that thing, you were going 5 miles an hour and you were terrified and you were paying attention to every single little thing everywhere. But you can't maintain that, and you start to figure out how to work it, and then it becomes an internal process. And before you know it, you're driving to work and you can't remember how you got there, because it's a subconscious thing. You've done it so often, you have now trained yourself unconsciously to do this. Same thing with being in the shower, brushing your teeth, anything that becomes a habit. What the trick is to use those same techniques to bring in the good stuff. Not just the habitual stuff, not just the need to do stuff. You make it a subconscious habit to always be moving yourself forward. Hear that ing word? Moving yourself forward towards these things that you want, towards these things that you desire, that you know you're called to, and letting that energy flow. Thank you.
Great. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, we're kind of into the last call zone. Does anyone have a question that they want to ask the panel? It is sliding scale. It is $20 to $28 or $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. Is there a question for us? It can be on anything. It may involve manifestation. Almost everything ends up involving manifestation in some form. And I see comments happening. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I'm putting the notes in the chat again about upcoming events. And maybe it is time to close up the panel. I'm going to put all the practitioners' information in the chat again, and practitioners, we're all going to go through and introduce ourselves again, so everyone knows who we are and how to reach out to us. Feel free to share your special again too, and make sure to say all your contact info so it's in the video, so those watching later can find us. All right. Well, maybe let's go in reverse order. So I think we'll go then. So is it Lisa, RoseMarie, Elizabeth? Was that the order we went? I can't remember. All right, Lisa first.
Thank you, Laureli. Hey, Mystics, I'm Lisa Stewart of Co-Create Magic. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. As I mentioned, I mentor mystics, whether you're just peeking out of the spiritual closet or starting your business, to co-create your magic. I'm on a mission to show mystical people how to find the courage to co-create their magic. So if you are feeling stuck, uninspired, or just want to get started in your business, let's work together to conjure some magic. Be sure to pick up the Map and Plan Your Magical Business budget-friendly business strategy planner in the chat. The link's in the chat. It's going to help you chart your strategy and tactics as you grow your personal brand. Stay magical.
Thanks, Lisa. RoseMarie. Let's get you
I've just been
unmuted.
enjoying everybody. I've just been enjoying everybody so much. I'm just waiting for the next person to speak. My beautiful beings of light, it's been wonderful to be with you this evening. I'm RoseMarie Davis, a spiritual consultant and teacher for Dragon Mastery LLC, where we try to help you develop your spiritual consciousness through thought, esoteric principles using thought mastery. Our goal is to help you take control of your life so that you can manifest the life of your dreams and awaken your chakras and heal anything that's holding you back. We offer the one-to-one consulting sessions. We also have couples and relationship counseling, drop-in workshops, mastery study groups, and live events such as this. We have live book reads, that kind of thing. We also do panel discussions, and I do private lectures as well. So you can find me at dragonspath.com. There we have access to a book that I've written, Awakening the Avisha Within You, which is your own personal teacher, your own personal spiritual guide, and other lifestyle products for those that are on the journey to enlightenment. Check me out. I would love to chat with you. I have a chat bot. If you just want to call and say, hey, I have a question, go to ria@dragonspath.com and I'll be happy to talk with you. I do have a special for all participants. You'd receive 50% off of a one-to-one consultation. That's a full hour with me and wherever you are on your journey for $47, $47.50. Namaste.
Thanks so much, RoseMarie. I think let's have Elizabeth and then Angie and then Tammy.
Thank you so much for being here with us. It's been amazing. I could talk about this all night with you ladies. You're amazing, fantastic. And thank you for coming and listening to us. I am Elizabeth Watson, Surreal Dawn, LLC. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Surreal Dawn. The email is the same, thesurrealdawn@gmail.com. My gift for everyone tonight is the freebie of my 3-minute manifestation hack. So we all need a little bit of quick kickstarting to that process. That's there for you. My special is that I would love to give you a free 30-minute discovery call to talk about what your dreams are, what you find holding you back, and how we could work together to get you to those things, to make them happen. And that link will be in the chat. So what I do is, as an intuitive empathic reader and a certified mindset and manifestation coach, I like to bring those two things together to really give you the power and science behind mindset and the spirit guidance behind the intuitive side to manifest the life of your dreams. I love working with moms who have let themselves get lost to everybody else's needs, and small business owners who are ready to start or scale their business and just need a little bit of push in that right direction. And just bridge the gap from where you are to where you long to be, because it's 100% possible and you deserve all those dreams. They're amazing. You're called to them for a reason. Do not doubt it. And if you do, talk to me and I'll help you not doubt it. So thank you again, everyone, for being here tonight. Elizabeth Watson, Surreal Dawn.
That's great. And one more thing, if you could just spell out Surreal Dawn for people in case they're not sure how to spell it.
Yes, that is SUREAL. No, sorry. Too much of a challenge tonight. SURREALDAWN, Surreal Dawn. And that's at the SURREALDAWN. Oh, didn't realize there was going to be a spelling test. Thanks, Laurel.
Great. So it's .com or at Gmail, I believe. All right, great.
I realize it's going to be a spelling test. I am Angie. I think I'm next, but I'm going to go. I'm Angie. I'm a spirit energy guide and manifesting coach from Universal Restorative Energy. And you can contact me at Angie at universalrestorativeenergy.com. And I also love to help people manifest and find their creator spirit, find that intentional movement that we all have within us, and understand how law of attraction is always manifesting. So contact me. I also have a 20-minute free consultation where we can talk about anything that you are wanting to work on, and we'll talk about how we can collaborate together. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Angie. And Tammy.
It's been wonderful being with you guys, everybody here. It's just been a lot of fun. So thank you very much for that. And I'm a spiritual guide. I'd love to help you deepen your connection with the unseen realms and help you live an empowered life. And I am at Tammy Joyful, TammyJoyful.com. And my email is tammyjoyfulguidance@gmail.com. And I do have a special $40 for a 30-minute session, which is 40% off. And again, it's just a wonderful time here tonight. And thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tammy. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. You can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com and matchmakingsoulmates.com. My freebie is a 20-minute intro mini session or come free to one of my drop-in dating coaching and matchmaking events, you can find out the list of all those upcoming events at matchmakingsoulmates.com, and you can see how to schedule with me on there as well. It's schedulelaureli.com. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Love talking about the scene, love being all together. I appreciate the synergy and the further expansion of all of us being together. So all of our MeWe events are at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com, and our upcoming events are Tuesday, Lisa and I host Start Grow Your Intuitive Business Mentoring and Coaching Session. Thursday, we have Wounds and Lessons from Our Ancestors. Saturday, May 20, we have an Intuition Practice Circle where you can practice your gifts with peers. And then Monday, May 22, we have Navigating Our Subconscious. And in person, we're going to be in Portland, June 3-4. We're going to be in Linwood here in Seattle, June 10 and 11. And then we're going to be in Anacortes, north of Seattle, July 8 and 9, right on the water. I look forward to being with you again online and in person. Thank you so much.